taking over the world, one nerd at a time. Total Nerd Takeover.
Hello, Chris Gray from tnerdt.com, and today I will be reviewing the CTA Digital Gooseneck clamp mount. Now, the reason I wanted to review this is because on our It's Apple Time podcast, we had a viewer that was looking for a mount so they didn't have to rest their iPad onto their lap or their belly when they're laying in bed. And the nice thing about this product is you can clamp it to a desk. You can clamp it to a headboard, depending on what kind of headboard you have. And it has a flexible gooseneck. It's about 20 inches, made out of steel. And that way you can move it around. If you're laying in bed or if you're sitting on a desk, you can move it around, keep it off the desk, and keep all that desk space. The company is called CTA, and they make a lot of really neat products, a lot of different stands for tablets. This particular stand will hold, I believe, a tablet up to 10.1 inches. So I'm sure it'll hold my iPad Air. So like I said, we had a listener call in that needed a solution, so I ended up purchasing. And if you want to listen to that podcast, it's episode 24 called Edge to Edge Display. It's Apple Time. Great show. So we're going to unbox this puppy and see what it looks like and see if it'll meet my needs. CTA also makes different stands. They sell a stand that's just off the floor that looks pretty sturdy. I hope to get one of those eventually. Maybe I can contact CTA. Maybe they'll send me some review units. Maybe. I hope so. Because I'm really happy with their product. So let's open this thing up and see what it looks like and see how it mounts to the desk. The price that I paid for this particular gooseneck clamp mount was $35.98. $35.98. That was of the time of this recording. Oh boy, those dreaded directions. And you guys know how I feel about directions, right? Goodbye. All right, here's the 20-inch gooseneck mount. Oh good, this is the part that's actually going to mount to your headboard or to your desk or to a table. It's very, very simple to use. It's just a screw with a flat big washer that has a microfiber or a felt material on it to keep from scratching any wood or any metal, any material you want to mount this on. And there's also a felt or foam padding here as well. So that should be really nice when I mount this to the desk. That should be really simple. So let's just unscrew this a little bit here. My desk isn't that thick, but put it about that much. Okay. Oh yeah, that feels nice and strong. This gooseneck is very nice and very solid. It's definitely going to be able to hold your tablet pretty easily. And on the end here, this is the end that will attach to this bracket, which is actually going to hold your iPad or your Amazon tablet or your Kindle Fire or whatever you got. All right, so let's take this plastic off and let's take a look at the actual bracket that will be holding your tablet. All right, now this is the bracket that's going to be holding your tablet. And it's very simple. We'll go over how to mount this to the gooseneck in a moment. But if you see, you have these knobs. You turn the knob to loosen up these sliders. Look at that. Very simple. Just slide it open to adjust. Turn the knob. Pull this out. And there you go. And then you get your tablet. Lay it in here like so. I'll show you in a second. And push these down. And just tighten them up. Oh, I like this. This is going to be very simple. Very simple. So let me get my trusty handy dandy tablet, my iPad Air. Okay, so here's my iPad Air. And I am going to be placing it into this bracket. Now, I want to mention that the fingers, we'll call them fingers, or the grippers, whatever you want to call them, are plastic. There is no felt in here, but I don't think that they're going to scratch anything. We're going to find out in a second. All right, so we slide those together, the top and the bottoms. Slide the sides together. There we go. I'm going to turn it upside down. Make sure everything feels pretty secure, and I'm going to tighten down these knobs. Okay, the knobs are tight, and the iPad Air is secured, just like so. See the fingers? Okay, now let's look at the bracket. Okay, so now that we have the iPad in the main bracket, this is the bracket that will be mounting to your desk or to your headboard or to whatever surface that you can get this bracket to mount to. And as you can see, it's just a clamp. That's all it is. There's a little bit of a felt here, or like a rubber padding. Also a little bit of rubber padding here on the clamp that that screws. And you just screw this onto the surface and tighten it up until it's super tight, and then tighten it up a little bit more, as tight as you can get it. And then that way you can bend it around, because this steel frame, the steel tubing, is very strong. It's very, very, I don't want to say it's impossible to move around, but it's very tough stuff. It's not, your iPad isn't going to sit in here and start to creep down. It can handle quite a bit of weight. Now, as you can see here in this bracket, you'll see that there's this mounting grooves in this pattern, and there's 2 holes. Those 2 holes are for the 2 set screws that are here on the flexible tubing part of the bracket. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the iPad out of this bracket, and then I'm going to mount this piece, the grippy part, to the arm of the iPad. So let me do that right now. Now let's mount the actual arm, the flexible arm, to the bracket that holds the iPad. Now how we're going to do that is we're going to match these teeth, or we'll call them tracks, into these grooves. And keeping in mind that these 2 holes are for the set screws. There's 2 set screws. So as you see, just line up the holes and slide the brackets slightly up, and now it is in the lock position. Now we take the screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver or star head, and we're going to tighten down these Phillips heads. Now I will put the iPad back into the bracket, and we'll see how it holds. Put the iPad back in the bracket. As you can see, it's not falling out, it's not moving around. It's very sturdy. There you go. Now I'm going to mount it up on the desk so you can see what it looks like all mounted up. And remember, we'll be using this end here to mount to a flat surface. And you can mount this to any type of surface that you can get this bracket on. Just remember to give it a good tighten once you get it on there. Okay, and as you can see, there is the iPad on the stand, nice and secure. I'm very, very happy with this product. It's very solid, it's very flexible. I don't see this going to be any kind of issue. I think it's going to work very nice here in the studio, and I highly recommend it. I would definitely purchase this if you're looking for a mount to keep your iPad sturdy while you're working on a desk, or putting it in your bedroom on a headboard or whatever. Okay, thank you for checking out my video review of the CTA Gooseneck clamp mount with the 20-inch flexible steel tube that holds your iPad onto a desk or onto a headboard. I've been Chris Gray from tnerdt.com. Check out our podcast at tnerdt.com, and if you like this video, please subscribe down below, or leave a comment. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. And I'll see you guys next time for another video.